suffering with COVID or numbers. All the time. But today, Father, I come to you today with an open and humble heart. I give you my concerns and worries and ask you to fill me with your peace and confidence today. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you so much, Commissioner. And just a little housekeeping before we go on to the next item. I see we have a slight echo. I'm not sure where that's coming from. As we continue to perfect this hybrid system for our meetings, we had some technical difficulties mainly because over the break while we were getting together and going through all types of dry runs, the system crashed. And unfortunately, the part that we need for the system was on back order for the supply chain. So we should be in a better state when that part gets in by the end of March. But we're making it happen. And I will tell you that yesterday when staff did a dry run for today's meeting, the screens did work. I guess it was too cold today. They don't work. So we are revamping the entire technical system here. Prayerfully, we'll get the parts that we need in a timely manner, but we've been working on this and unfortunately there's things out of our control. So I'm sorry, and Pam has something for me. Okay, and then we're getting text messages that the people on Zoom can't hear us. So when you are speaking, speak directly into the microphone so that they can hear you, okay? Thank you all. Next item.
Reading, correcting, and approval of the journal.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Baydoun.
Move for approval. Support.
Been moved and supported. Any corrections, any discussion on the approval of the journal? Hearing none, I'll do a voice vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone wish to abstain?
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Report from the chair.
Thank you. I'll just say a couple of things. I want to welcome our Register of Deeds here, Bernie Youngblood. Ms. Youngblood, thank you for coming to our meeting today. Good to see you. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you were able to be with us. And if you want to make any remarks, I don't know if you want to do it this time or if you'd like to do later, or if you just.
And sing a song.
Okay, very good. Thank you, sir. Also, I want to just let everyone know, Commissioner Hayes is not here today because his daughter was receiving a wonderful acknowledgement. She was voted Superintendent of the Year for the state of Michigan. So he's in Grand Rapids with his family, acknowledging and celebrating her great accomplishments. So that's why he's not here today. And then some of you may or may not know Director Tad Sturdivant. He has retired from the county and gone on to be with the airport. So he's no longer with us as our Director of Homeland Security, but he has a wonderful position now with the Airport Authority, and he'll still be close, but just not directly with us. And the interim director is Mr. Jafer. So we all know the great work that he does. So I'm sure they'll be announcing a actual director soon, but he's the interim right now. We want to wish Tad the best of luck. Unfortunately, he's already gone, so we didn't get a chance to prepare anything, but he was such a wonderful asset to us as Director of Homeland Security, going through FEMA, working through the floods, working through all of the unexpected natural disasters that we've had. So we just want to wish him well, but luckily he's not very far. He's at the airport. So if we get a chance to see Tad, just tell him how wonderful of a job he did and that we'll miss him sorely. Next item, please.
Unfinished business, there is none listed. We are moving to page 2 of the agenda, offering of all petitions, ordinances, presentations, and resolutions. There are 4 items listed.
Okay, the first item is the jury reimbursement ordinance. We have that today for first reading and then referred to committee, then back to here. Is there a motion to first reading to Committee of Government Operations?
Move approval. Anderson. Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone wish to abstain?
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Next item, please.
Item number 2 is a resolution by Commissioner Bell supporting Senate Bill 694 and encouraging the Michigan Legislature to enact and Governor Whitmer to sign Senate Bill 694, which would add 1 judge to the Third Circuit Court of Michigan.
Okay, it's pretty self-explanatory, but we do have Judge Kinney on Zoom. If Judge Kinney, if you are available to unmute and speak to this item, please.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Chair Bell. Thank you so much for providing this this time. And Happy New Year to you and to all of the members of the Board of Commissioners.
You just put yourself on mute, Judge Kinney. Hold on, Judge.
There you are.
There you go.
We okay now?
Yep, we can hear you. Thank you.
Did it just cut out or did you hear any of my comments?
We didn't hear anything except for Happy New Year.
Okay. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. And Chair Bell, thank you so much for providing this this opportunity and Happy New Year to all the members of the Board of Commissioners. There is currently a bill in the Michigan legislature right now that would provide an additional Wayne County Circuit Court judgeship for us beginning January 1st of 2023. That would mean that a new seat would be created and would be on the November ballot. And just a brief history, back in 2015, the court's number of judges was reduced by 4 by the legislature. And in 2019, the Judicial Resources Report that was compiled recommended that the Third Circuit Court, be provided 3 additional judgeships. And with that, this Senate bill would get us along the way toward getting back to where the Supreme Court and the State Court Administrator's Office thinks that we should be. Right now, there are 3 divisions in the court where we have been using visiting judges on a regular basis in order to deal with the volume. And to just give you just sort of a brief example of why an additional judge may be needed, as you may recall, in October of 2021, a new law was enacted that was called Raise the Age. The Raise the Age bill meant that criminal cases, which normally would have gone to the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice as adult charges, if someone was the age of 17, that's no longer the case. A 17-year-old would be taken as a juvenile rather than as an adult. It's expected by estimates from the court and the prosecutor's office that may add an additional 1,000 cases to the juvenile court for them to handle. Also, we certainly have been using a visiting judge or judges on a regular basis in the criminal division based on the volume that we have there. And also we have used one in the family division of our court. As you know, many of the people who come seeking divorce, child custody issues are self-represented people. Those cases simply take more time. That means that it's slower for these cases to move through and get to resolution, and therefore an additional resource. The Judicial Resource Commission indicated was worthwhile. The legislature is supportive of that. We need a resolution in support of this legislation from the Board of Commissioners, and that's why we are here. I also have with me Lynn Roberts, who is the court's chief financial officer, if there are any questions with regards to that particular funding that may be involved here. But I know that the Board of Commissioners has been supportive of the court's efforts throughout the years, and we are here asking for your support once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. We have a few questions from the commission, but before that, I see you, Commissioner Basham. Let me go to Mark Abel to speak about the analysis on the fiscal impact. I know Terrence Adams from Fiscal Office did an analysis and sent to everyone. So Mark or Terrence, if you want to just talk about the fiscal impact of this, please.
Madam Chair, I'm going to defer to Terrence on this.
Yes, how you doing? Through the chair. Based on the analysis that was provided, it's going to cost the court somewhere between, I believe it was like 300 something thousand to over 400,000 with the county, with the court, depending on where the judges could be placed at, whether it's placed in criminal, juvenile, or the domestic court. And that number would also include court clerks, sheriff deputies, and fringes for all. But one thing it didn't take into account probably is the legacy cost of just having an employee over time through retirement, unemployment, things of that nature that could come up. But for the most part, it's going to cost somewhere between, like I said, 300 and some thousand to 400 some thousand to have additional judge, depending on what court, what division of the court that is placed in.
Thank you, Terrence. Saw a hand for Commissioner Basham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Judge, I seen a story when you said that Channel 7 did on one of the circuit court judges relative to time spent at work. And anyway, and I'm not saying anything other than I did see the story, but I do hear personally from people in my district about the criminal cases. As I understand it, and I could be wrong, I'm certainly not an attorney, but the criminal trial cases, they're only doing 2 a week in Wayne County, and we're a huge county. Is this going to, are we going to increase the trials? Because the victims have rights too. And it's very important that the victims be represented and we don't wait 2 and 3 and 4 years before we have a trial of somebody that's been injured or killed in Wayne County.
Certainly, and Commissioner, you are correct. We were doing 2 jury trials a week right up until the Omicron variant hit us. There were bench trials, in other words, trials without a jury that were being conducted as well. We are expanding our ability to do additional trials, especially jury trials at this point. We are making arrangements to utilize the Huntington Center, where we can, in February, begin picking multiple juries 2 days a week, where we can socially distance and provide a safe environment in order for us to pick juries and then have those jurors report back to Frank Murphy the next day and begin. There have been, as a result of the pandemic, very real concerns. So the jury room, the jury assembly room that we have at the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice can only socially distance about 50 to 60 people. And we also have to find a place where they can deliberate. We can't use traditional jury deliberation rooms because we can't provide socially distanced environments. So we have to use empty courtrooms in our building, and that has hindered us. And the other thing that has hindered our ability to go forward and expand and do more jury trials is the fact that the Wayne County Clerk's Office is short-staffed. They are hiring some additional ones and trying to get us to a better place. But quite frankly, we don't have enough court clerks to be in courtrooms for our judges. That's where we are, and we think that utilizing the step of using the Huntington Center to start picking multiple juries at a time will also help us. But certainly we are concerned about doing so, but doing so in a way that will protect our citizens who come down for jury service as well.
People are dying on the streets as a result of perpetrators not being held accountable. And I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kenlock?
It's just one clarity with staff and then a follow-up question to the Chief Judge. The fiscal impact, is that the number that was given, is that just the impact on the county's budget? Because I know there's a shared cost associated with judges with the state. So that's just the cost coming out of the county's general fund or its contribution?
Terrence, that was the analysis that was done by our fiscal analysis was for just the county portion.
Just the county portion. Okay, so the next question is, as we, of course, have been hearing in the media, the increase in cases, the backlog, for all of the reasons that you stated, Judge. We also have heard in the media as it relates to certain minor offenses associated with individuals who would otherwise lawfully be able to carry a concealed weapon. There has been some reports of an increase of offenses or charges brought to individuals for minor offenses associated with the CPL. And what has come from some discussions that I understand that there has been some encouragement by folks within the judicial system and elsewhere, and some defense lawyers, of utilizing diversion programs to lessen a lot of these or deal with a lot of these types of cases. So how are you all trying to clear or decrease the number of cases that you all are handling for the purpose of trying not to even have them enter into the judicial system in the first instance? And I know that's a coordination between police as well as with the prosecutor's office. So just wanting to know what's your stance and what's the status on those type of discussions?
Sure. Thank you, Commissioner. First of all, as I'm sure you know, if there's a case that is put into the system, that's as a result of a law enforcement agency presenting a request to the prosecutor's office and the prosecutor's office making a decision to recommend a warrant, which is then authorized by a district court judge. You are correct. There are a lot of cases that are in the system right now that involve people who have CPLs, concealed pistol licenses, who may have been carrying a weapon incorrectly or having an expired CPL because they haven't been able to get it renewed. There have been a number of steps that have taken place. We have worked, our Third Circuit Court, I've worked with Chief Judge McConico in the 36th District Court, along with the Wayne County prosecutor, to see about alternatives. Are there options for people for whom there are equities that would merit a relatively lenient or reasonable treatment or diversion of their case? We've set up a special program in the 36th District Court to identify those cases as quickly as possible and get them out of the system so that those individuals who are, the evidence would indicate, are posing more of a threat to the public safety can in fact be the cases that move on and get handled. So that's kind of where we are right now. I know that the prosecutor is now also enlisting the assistance of the faith community to help with regards to providing some sort of community service component to individuals who may be not posing a threat to public safety, but ones for whom we can get a diversion so that they are not saddled with a criminal record and yet they are giving back something to the community. So that's where we are right now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on this item? Judge, you have any other remarks before we move on and vote?
No, thank you so much, Madam Chair. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your thorough explanation of this item. And again, this is a resolution supporting Senate Bill 694 and then encouraging the governor to sign the bill once she receives it. Is there a motion?
Oh, Madam Chair.
Moved and supported by Vice Chair Baden? Okay, thank you. Moved and support. Any further discussion by commissioners? Okay, and our screen isn't working. So all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Anyone wish to abstain?
Carries.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Judge, for being with us today. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, thanks so much.
Thank you. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item number 3 is a resolution by Commissioner Palomera strongly urging the Michigan Legislature to enact Senate Bill 67 and 781 and House Bill 5084 to protect frontline healthcare workers and public health officials against assault or assault and battery resulting in physical injury.
Vice Chair Palomera.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Madam Clerk, for your articulate summary. You've probably read or heard about, since the pandemic, reports of violence or threats of violence against our frontline healthcare workers. This resolution asks that Michigan join the 35 other states that have already enacted such penalties for assault and battery against frontline healthcare workers. And actually, this, if the legislature would adopt it, would extend the same protections to frontline healthcare workers that already exist for first responders. I move that the resolution be approved and ask for your support.
Support.
Been moved and supported by many. Any discussion on the resolution? Commissioner Kinlock.
Will this, just process this, will this be opened up for co-sponsors?
Yes, sir.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone wish to abstain?
Motion carries.
Okay, open the board for co-sponsors. We're going to do it this old-fashioned way. If you'd like to co-sponsor, raise your hand. And then the clerk will note.
Sponsors duly noted.
All right, thank you so much. Next item, please.
We're on item number 4, a resolution by Commissioner Daub supporting legislators in the Michigan House and Senate to continue their efforts to protect those in their communities from sexual violence.
Commissioner Daub.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do have some amendments to this resolution. The clerk bring those up on the screen.
Okay. Are the amendments in red?
Yeah,
Okay.
so they're at the bottom. We just added one paragraph
Right there, the whereas as a
and
result.
changed the last paragraph a little bit.
Like the clerk to read the amendment into the record?
Yes, please.
First, whereas clause that was added reads, Senate Bill 497 would expand the definition of mentally incapacitated by amending MCL 750.520A to include anyone under the influence of a mind-altering substance, whether or not that substance was used voluntarily. And the last resolve clause, that the Wayne County Commission on this 20th day of January 2022 hereby calls upon our legislators in the Michigan House and Senate to pass legislation as well as share it with all 43 communities across the county as we work together to support these initiatives on the state level.
Thank you. Commissioner Dodd?
Thank you. One of the duties of the Wayne County Women's Commission is to study and advocate for issues of concern of women throughout Wayne County. Rape and sexual assault can happen to people of all genders, but it is often thought of as a women's issue. According to the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, or RAIN, 1 out of every 6 American women, compared to 1 in 33 American men, have been the victim of completed or attempted rape in their lifetime. For child sexual abuse cases, 1 in 9 girls under the age of 18 experience sexual abuse or assault at the hands of an adult, compared to 1 in 53 boys. Michigan lags far behind other states in attempts to address, prevent, and provide justice for sexual assault survivors. And it is beyond time for the legislature to act to address these shortcomings. There are numerous bills relating to sexual assault that have been introduced into both the House and the Senate that have not been given any attention. Many of these bills have not even been given a hearing, or they're just sitting in committee. And they are common sense bills. House Bill 4227 would end child marriage in Michigan. House Bill 4699 would repeal the marriage rape loophole defense. Senate Bill 0479 would expand criminal sexual conduct to include many victims of date rape that our current laws neglect. We are incredibly lucky to have a champion for sexual assault victims here in Wayne County, our own prosecutor, Kim Worthy. I spoke with the prosecutor about this resolution yesterday, and she requested that I add Senate Bill 0497 to this resolution. She actually wanted me to postpone bringing this resolution to full board for approval so she could have some more time to review it and maybe add more to it. So you know this issue is important, but I didn't want to hold it up. So I will point out that the list of bills in my resolution is by no means meant to be a comprehensive list, nor a legal analysis. But I asked Prosecutor Worthy for an approximate number of sexual assault cases that her office prosecutes each year. And she didn't have an exact number for me, but she estimated about 400. And that's not the number of cases that actually happen, just how many they prosecute. And according to RAIN, more than 2 out of 3 sexual assaults go unreported to the police. So think of how many people are affected by this every year, right here in Wayne County. So back to rape and sexual assault being a woman's issue. According to the United States Department of Justice Violence Against Women Report 2002, nearly 99% of rape and sexual assault perpetrators are male. So the Wayne County Women's Commission unanimously voted to recommend that we pass this resolution today. And I'm hoping that we can use our platform here as county commissioners and that of our Wayne County Women's Commission to bring more attention to these bills and to get them moving. And so with that, I will make the motion to approve this resolution as amended. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been moved and supported. Discussion. Commissioner Kling.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just seeing this new language today. So I want to check on that whereas in red. Is that to protect the victim or the perpetrator? I'm looking at the way it reads, right? And if the perpetrator is under a mind-altering substance, you know, they were slipped or whatever. But this is the protection for the victims.
Yes.
Not the perps.
Correct.
All righty. Just wanted to clarify that. The way it read, I wasn't. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the resolution? Let me first say that thank Commissioner Dodd for bringing this and brought it to the Women's Commission last week. As you know, the Women's Commission is charged with bringing issues to bear to the Wayne County Commission that affect women throughout Wayne County. And this issue certainly pertains to women, especially during the pandemic, because all crimes against women have just skyrocketed when people are home with abuse, with rape, and many other assaults against women during the pandemic. So hopefully the state legislature will heed our call to take up these bills and support them so that we can have protections against our women here in Wayne County and throughout the state of Michigan. So thank you, Commissioner Dahl, for bringing this to us. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We'd like to open this up for co-sponsors, Commissioner Dahl.
Yes, please.
If you'd like to be a co-sponsor, please raise your hand.
All commissioners present will be noted as co-sponsors.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Next item, Madam Clerk.
We're moving to reports from committees. Report A is from the Committee on Public Services. There are 10 items listed on pages 2 through 4 of the agenda.
Commissioner Marecki.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move to receive and file items 1 through 5 and approval for items 6 through 10. And number 9, Commissioner Baydoun being the maker of that motion.
It's been moved. Is there support?
Support.
Okay, discussion, Commissioner Basham.
Hey,
And
Madam
then-
Chair, item number 7 is a cooperative agreement. Could someone mention why?
Is there someone from the administration to discuss item number 7? From the administration to discuss item 7.
Hello, this is Steve from Wayne County Roads. This is in regards to Herc Rental. All we're doing is we're extending the contract for another year and adding additional money for the purposes of renting equipment that we desperately need in bridges, such as,
Can't hear you.
utilizing cranes,
Speak a little louder, sir.
bobcats, a man lift that's really needed for our operations.
Hold on one second. We couldn't hear. Could you please start over? I'm sorry. Could you speak as loud as you can, please?
This is, hi, this is Steve from Rhodes. This is a contract extension for another year. We're adding 500,000 to the original contract for needed equipment as part of our operation, such as cranes to work on bridges, barges, bobcats, man lifts. These are all needed equipment in order to perform our jobs.
Commissioner Basham?
Madam Chair, I can appreciate that, but why wouldn't you put it out for bid and put sunshine on the process? Why you wouldn't, and I don't see it coming under my deal like that's something that Michigan, the state of Michigan is doing also. Why do we do it like this?
I mean, it's just part of an extension. It's within the contract to extend it for another year just because it's ongoing. And again, they do have all the proper equipment that we need in order to ensure that the projects get done accordingly.
If I may, Madam Chair, through the chair, and I heard you say it's ongoing. Things can be ongoing and ongoing and ongoing. And my point is, if we know it's coming, we know we need it, why don't we just put it out for bid or go through my deal? And then you put sunshine on it, and then I certainly would support it. The way we go about this, not that what you're doing is not needed or whatever, but the way we're going about this and voting on this stuff, $500,000 to some folks is a couple dollars. And it should have sunshine on the process. And it's more about the process than it is about the item.
Thank you, Commissioner. And for this particular item, I will just note that this was part of the original contract, that they had a 1-year option. It was not a new contract. They were just exercised the option that was already in the original contract. And then once that option expires, then they'll go out for another bid for a new contract on this particular one. But I understand your point.
So this is on the part of the option, the 1-year option?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
thank you. Commissioner Knizik and then Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. When my question doesn't have to do with the contract itself, but perhaps this is just getting a bit ahead of the process. But I love looking at item number 5. We're investing in a company in Novi. Item 6, we're investing in Dearborn. Item 8, we're investing in Canton. 9, back to Dearborn. I don't know what Commissioner Baydun's doing, but it's working. And then I look at this item and we're investing in a company in Florida. I mean, do we know of any companies here in Michigan that we could be investing in to keep those dollars local? Or is this the only company because it's so highly specialized that we have to be looking outside the state?
Steve, do you have an answer for that one? Or Aaron? I see Aaron's hands up.
Yes, through the chair. Yeah, Omnia Partners is a national cooperative that both federal, state, and municipal governments utilize. They negotiate the best pricing, and this particular company is a national firm that they have all of the equipment that we are looking for. Certainly, when we go out to bid after this extension goes through, if there are state-based, county-based companies that do have the breadth and depth of the equipment that we're looking for, we will look to engage with them. But from a cooperative agreement and from a pricing perspective, this particular contract was put out to bid by another entity. And so other governments are able to utilize and capitalize on the savings that they do have because it is a national organization.
I apologize because obviously it's difficult with us here and folks responding on Zoom. So I don't know who answered that question, but I appreciate the answer. Thank you, Madam Chair.
That was Aaron Wagner.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner.
Thank you. Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess my question on that item is, Steve, can you explain or someone explain from the administration why is this only as needed, not that it's supplementing or replacing us buying our own equipment? And I guess my question is this just like an emergency? Because I am aware of one piece of equipment. It's a large truck that we have in the department that's been a rental truck for some time. And I'm wondering why we're not buying a piece of equipment rather than leasing these pieces of equipment. Because I would assume that if we get something from a company in Bonita Springs, Florida, we're going to be paying for shipping for those pieces of equipment or for them being transported to Michigan for us to use, for our DPS department to use, and then paying for the shipping to take them back, that would be in the pricing. So it just doesn't, I guess, first question, is this just to replace temporarily equipment, or are we supplementing rather than buying equipment?
Thank you for that question, Commissioner Anderson. So 2 parts to that question. First is that they are local here. They do have local branches here. And part of, as I said earlier in my conversation, is that, it's needed equipment in order to perform our job correctly, such as a 26-ton crane, man lifts that we use in signals and bridges as well. So they do have the necessary equipment. Number 2, we are exploring the idea with equipment, and as we did with last year in purchasing equipment rather than renting. So we are exploring the idea of purchasing some of this equipment through equipment division.
Okay, I appreciate that, because this one piece of equipment I know is parked on one of the streets that I drive on all the time. And it's a very large, probably a 350 Ford vehicle with a bucket on it. And so that's my concern, is that we're not getting into the situation where rather than making the capital outlay to buy a piece of equipment, we're continuing to do what's easiest to just lease those on a temporary basis. But I guess what I'd like to see is if we could get some type of report on what we need as far as equipment that is a regular leased item and why we're not purchasing or when we're going to purchase those items, those vehicles. But I appreciate the information, Steve. If you could enlighten us on how much equipment we really need that is a regular lease piece of equipment. That would be, and I understand if it's very limited use, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense for us to purchase that item. But if it's something that's used on a regular basis, then I'd like to see us purchase those pieces of equipment and hopefully purchase it from someone here in Michigan too.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Steve. If you.
I said, will do, sir.
Okay, thank you. Madam Chair, I had a couple of more questions. We had in this committee, there was I believe, a map that was passed out or provided. But when I looked at the online version of it, we can't hardly read the streets on it. It's the current map that displays the condition of roadways in Wayne County. And it is such poor quality that we can hardly make out what streets and roads they are. And I think all of us probably have roads, county roads in their districts that they'd like to see what it is to determine whether or not those streets are noted as being in poor condition. Because I certainly believe it's a factor and probably a primary factor in when those roads are scheduled to be replaced or repaired. So I'd just like to ask if someone from the administration could provide a better quality quality map, even if it's electronic, that you can zoom in and actually see the name of the street or the road, if that could be possible. Is there someone, Steve, I don't know if you would be the one to do that since you're representing the department today.
No, Madam Chair, Beverly Watts, Director, Department of DPS. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Beverly.
Good morning. Commissioner Anderson, great question. This is what I stated. I'll repeat again in the COPS committee that DPS will resume. We're working on the map now. We're working with our IT department to do just that. So our goal is to accomplish that and complete that project this year. So it's in the works and we're working along with IT.
Okay, this map was for what is planned for the condition currently. Do we not have, does SEMCOG not have a map that's larger that can be zoomed in so we can actually read the streets?
I can't speak for SEMCOG. You have to check on that. What I can tell you is that we've been working on this initiative. It did get sidetracked with the pandemic. So we're back again on that initiative, working with our IT department on all of our roads to get an updated map. And we're working on it to get it out this year. That's what I can tell you.
Okay. It just seems like not something that would take a year to do or the remainder of the year to do. But I
didn't say a year. I said that's something we're working on and we're going to complete it this year. I did not indicate a timeline.
Okay, thanks. The other thing I had is this number 5, item number 5, the compressor motor. I understand it's probably emergency procurement, but I just wondered, is this something that is qualified to be purchased under COVID-19 FEMA vaccine? Did someone verify that is a legitimate expense under that? I'm not disagreeing with maybe the need to for this procurement question or emergency procurement, but whether or not this is something that qualifies.
Yes, sir, Commissioner Anderson. This is Daryl Jones from Buildings.
Yes.
All right. How you doing? Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
Okay. So this purchase was based on emergency purchases. It is not COVID related. It was related to the flood that we had in, I think, with June or July, and this was at the morgue. at the MEO office. As I indicated, I think once before, we may have something on the list that was sent through commission. These are items that we have also vetted through our insurance company and through FEMA that we've made claims in order to try to recover from the using the funds for these items. But they were all purchased under emergency in order to keep them more running and to get it back up in shape.
I guess my question is, it indicates COVID-19 FEMA vaccine fund is the account that's going to be charged.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't catch that part from that. That may be this word that I would have definitely, I see it down here at COVID-19. I don't know why it would say COVID-19 because that is not part of COVID-19. That is part of necessarily would be a FEMA claim that we necessarily have and insurance purposes.
Do we need to make that change, council? Because the resolution will have that information, correct?
That is correct. So if commission staff.
Okay, that was the information that was provided by the administration. So we could do a couple of things. We can make a verbal amendment to that or have staff,
Readjust
staff resubmit and put it down for immediate consideration. Council.
Through the chair, if they can get us that number by the end of the meeting, we can make that change. So perhaps we can take this out of the motion and hopefully they can get us a proper account before the end of this meeting.
Is that something you can do, Daryl?
Okay, good for clarity. I'm sorry, Felicia, you want us to necessarily do what, if you state that again, so I know exactly what needs to be done?
Through the chair, can you confirm and verify the account? So what we're going to do is we're going to hold this item until the end of the agenda. And if you can verify the account, then the commission will approve it at that time.
Okay, let me get on the phone and I'll stay on a course and be mute. And then I'll get that information. I'll be ready to answer that question at the end of this period.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Through the chair, if I may for correction, this is actually a receive and file item. We are on item number 5, correct?
Right.
So actually with item number 5, because it's receive and file, it has already occurred. So this is just the commission accepting the information. So it's actually, I don't think it's necessary to actually have it corrected at this point. If that is the information that they used, then that is the information that occurred, then we can't change that at this point. However, Daryl can still verify to confirm that the information we received is correct. But there's no need to take it out of the motion because again, this is just for informational purposes. It has already occurred.
Okay. Thank you. And if you can get further explanation to us as if this is the correct account that it should have been taken out of, Daryl, that'd be helpful.
Will do.
Thank you. Commissioner Kinlock, and then back to the chair, Marecki.
Oh, okay, this is a quick question. Also at the COPS meeting, I had asked about a report or a list of the status of community block grants. After the meeting, I did get a call and they said that that would be best, or that information from a committee standpoint would be the Committee on Economics would be the place where that would land, but that I would be receive the information anyway since it was requested. So was wondering this, as it relates to, is anyone on who can respond to the status of that list, the community block grant status list?
As either Carol, Mr. Carroll, or
Madam Chair, Andrew Candrevas here.
Andy. Okay, go ahead, Andy.
Good morning from Wayne County Executive Warren Evans' office. Yeah, Terry Carroll would be the best person. I've communicated with Terry and am receiving that, have received it, and I will be distributing it. So I just want to make sure it's got everything in it that the commissioner has before I send it to him. So.
Thank you. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Commissioner. Back to Commissioner Marecki.
Thank you.
Oh, well, then the Commissioner can lean after Commissioner Marecki. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Yeah, go. Do you want him to go?
Commissioner Marecki.
Okay. Thank you. And Commissioner Anderson, we talked about the maps at the meeting that day too. And if you, SEMCOG's got some really detailed maps that you can zone in if that's helpful before we get this map from DPS, but we did talk about the same concerns you had about that. I just wanted to note a couple more things from the committee meeting last week. And I know the commissioners have gone through all of this, but just to reiterate, the first 4 items we have, these are budget instructions. So we get these updates from DPS, and this is because on the budget instructions, they need to give the committee this. So just a reminder on that. We already talked about number 5, and like our council said, it's an emergency procurement. It already happened. It was for the morgue, and there's nothing we can do with that. Number 6 is the Ford parts and repair services, a contract for that. We talked about 7, and thank you, Madam Chair, for explaining that to Commissioner Basham, that it was an extension. Number 8 is good news for roads with Cadillac Asphalt, $8 million contract for the purchase and the delivery of hot mix asphalt throughout the county. Number 9 is great for Dearborn, Miller Road, and that's why Commissioner Baydoun is the maker of that motion. And number 10, I just wanted to touch on, this is a land purchase in Westland off of Farmington. It's 9.88 acres. And this land will be incorporated into Hines Park. It will be made into a connector service for citizens to go into the park area. And it's all part of the park plan that our park groups are doing over the next years. So I just kind of wanted to touch base, and there was a good discussion so far, but just wanted to highlight some things. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner, for those highlights. I appreciate that. Commissioner Colleen.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. And I want to thank the chair of the committee for that little rundown on everything, given how we're conducting business these days. Today must be the day to talk about maps here. I was frustrated by that map too. That is an excellent map that came, but the format of it, you can't enlarge it. You can't make it fit onto an 8.5 by 11 landscape, which is very useful. I find it's very useful when I talk to my constituents because everybody wants the road at the end of their block repaved, and we can't do them all in an instant. So when I have discussions in community groups or whatnot, to have a decent map to say, look how the roads are in Wayne County, right? There's a lot of red on there. And just infrastructure in general, to say, look at all the red, right? We're not going to get to everything tomorrow. And I think it helps people understand. I did, Commissioner Anderson, go onto the SEMCOG website. I have found SEMCOG to be kind of difficult. There is a whole SEMCOG map on there that you can zoom in on. But, that's a lot of work. It seems to me someone even on our staff, maybe there's a little computer trick that I don't know that can take that map and make it readable all on one sheet, because the way it came wasn't really useful. I do have a question on item 10. I'm glad that we're talking about purchasing more parkland. My questions are, is this land, is any of this land involved in any of the mills out there that we've talked about? We've sold a couple. I don't know if we're buying any back. So what is this land? It sounds like, I know they're talking about the connectors and they want to use that. So what does this 10 acres, 9.88 acres do for us? How is that going to improve our park system?
You want this, Commissioner Marecki, or should we go to our Parks Director?
If
Ms.
the
Bradford?
chair of the committee has that answer, I'd love to hear it from the chair.
I don't think Alicia Bradford's on today. This is a purchase from a couple that owns this land. They also owned another piece of land that we talked about putting the horse barns on originally. It had a barn on it or a house on it. That didn't go through. What they're planning on doing though is making this a connector to, and I can't tell you specifically how they're doing it, and if there's someone from the administration that can do it specifically, but this is just part of the whole plan, getting people more into the park. And Wayne County likes to get these purchases so that we can keep expanding Hines Park. So I know that's not real specific, but I know there's going to be a connector there where people can come down. I believe they're going to have to go to the city of Westland and have this rezoned because right now it is residential, but I don't think they foresee any problem with that. So I don't know if the administration has any more specific to add to this, but again, this is all being done through the whole Hines Park, looking for these pieces of land that we can grab and put into the
No,
park
Commissioner, you
process.
gave the answer I was looking for. I don't need further discussion on that. This was in the budget. This was something we were planning on doing.
I think they're always looking to see, just like this other parcel of land this couple owned, to see how we can expand that area. And this is not a very usable area. It's going to be like, we don't have to maintain this area either. So that's a real big plus with this. We're not going to have to, mow lawns and do all that type of thing.
Well, again, I'm glad to see that we're talking about adding acreage to our Wayne County parks. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Vice Chair Palomero.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would also like to echo that I appreciate adding nearly 10 acres to the footprint of Hines Park and look forward to voting yes.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted to clarify a traffic study that I had requested for West 6 Mile Road and Outer Drive area. Just wanted to see if that has been done yet, and if not, when.
Ms. Watts? Or Mr. Kennedy?
Madam Chair.
Several accidents right
Go
at
ahead,
that
Andy.
location
And that was West Nichols and
at Outer Drive.
Outer
area.
Drive. Okay. Andy?
Between.
Hi, Madam Chair.
and
Yeah, I just wanted to say
Southfield.
hi.
Yes.
I could get back with the commissioner. I don't have that information. I don't think anybody's on right now that would have the listing of the statuses of requests for any traffic studies. So, but I will follow up with the commissioner and then the department and make sure everybody's clear on that.
The second question has to do with West 6 Mile between Telegraph and Lasher Road. I know that you were looking at repaving that area and wanted the status of that as well, if you have it.
Okay, no,
Can
go
I,
ahead.
okay,
Yes.
this is Alan from Wayne County. Again, we don't have that information right now. If I can send that info later, would that be okay with the group?
Yes, if you could please respond to Commissioner Baker McCormick as soon as possible, that would be great.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair Pro Tem Baydun.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am also in full support of adding additional land to the footprint of Hines Park. However, I have a quick question. I don't know if Beverly or who else is on the line from Parks. The 10 acres, how much of that is wetland if we know this question, and how much can we use from this 10 acres? I think Commissioner Marecki mentioned that there's not going to be much maintenance. I think we're paying $25,000 an acre, which is a bargain in my opinion. But I'm just curious as to how much of that land could be classified as wetland.
I can answer that or answer some of it. This is Elizabeth Isler, Chief of Planning, Wayne County Parks. I appreciate all of the commissioner's support of us purchasing land. This land is in the floodplain. I don't think it's been exactly designated of what percentage of it is wetland, but we can do some studies on that. But you're right. It is important for our boundaries to improve those and expand those. We're thinking of using it for passive space, so we can still put trails and things in it. And as Commissioner Marecki mentioned, it's an important connector to allow residents from that side of the river to get over to us and connect to the existing trails that we already have. But it is in the floodplain, so it isn't buildable land from a developing standpoint, but it is definitely important for us for a variety of reasons. Thank you.
Commissioner Vargas hand?
She answered the question. Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion on the public services report?
Madam Chair,
Yes. who's
Andrew
that?
Kendrivis. Yeah,
Yes.
very quickly, I just put in the chat, but regarding the map question and a better view of it, just so everybody is aware, as the chair, Chair Marecki said, SEMCOG website, maps.semcog.org/pavement condition will get you to the movable map. You can look on it on screen, and I put that in your chat as well. That's the SEMCOG site. You can see all the conditions of the Wayne County roads on that.
And maybe we can put that link on our Wayne County website as well, so people can know to go there and click there to get a better view of the map, if we can't put it on ourselves.
I'll discuss that with the department.
Thank you. Okay, hearing no further discussion, roll call vote.
Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Basham,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Daub,
Yes.
Commissioner Colleen,
Aye.
Commissioner Kinlaw,
Yes.
Commissioner Knizik, Commissioner Morecki,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Baydoun,
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomera,
Yes.
Chair Bell,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. Next item, please.
We're moving to Report B from the Committee on Ways and Means. There are 2 items listed.
Thank you, Commissioner Varga.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Committee on Ways and Means is recommending for approval 2 items. The first one is a software application for the Assessment and Equalization Division to maintain and update the data from all local units of government within the county of Wayne. And it's important to have because we need it for compliance in the financial reporting of all required equalization data under the State Tax Commission. Number 2 is adding a personnel to Victoria Innes Edwards Division of the Human Relations Business Inclusion Division. We're hiring 1 person and they have been working so hard with limited personnel. So this addition will be a welcome change and welcome addition to our Wayne County employees.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion, Commissioner Basham?
Madam Chair, you know I'm going to say something when it's retroactive and sole source, and even though it's needed, I still don't understand why they don't put these out for and if it's the only one that applied, that would be different. But anyway, I probably will, not like it, but support it. But I'm trying to get the process changed here for the Wayne County. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you. And item number 1, it's in Bath, Michigan. Is there a reason? I guess it's sole source because they had just, this is the only company that had that expertise. Yes.
Someone can speak to item number 1 from the administration?
Yes, ma'am. This is Scott Vandenbergel, Assessment and Equalization, through the chair.
Yes. Speak a little bit louder, please.
Okay. The BSNA software application is an application that's approved through the Michigan Department of Treasury for assessment and equalization administration. The state maintains a list of approved vendors that meet its criteria, it being Michigan Department of Treasury, its criteria for compliance with the statutory and regulatory scheme for the assessment process. At this time, there is only 1 vendor that is on the state's approved list, and that is BSNA software. At differing times in the past, there have been other vendors along with BSNA, but for the past quite some number of years, it has been only BSNA. So it's just kind of a specialized area where it's really very specific to the taxation and statutory structure of Michigan. So that is really what's driving the idea that it's a sole source vendor, really because it's essentially a sole source taxing scheme within Michigan that has a really unique set of taxing statutes that are governing the process. And it's the only vendor that has a compliant software application.
Thank you. Did that answer your question,
And then
Commissioner?
oh, you had.
Commissioner Basham?
He didn't say why it was retroactive.
There a reason why it was retroactive?
Administratively, it took a number of weeks to get the contract back in front of the commission. There were some paperwork issues earlier on. If you recall, this item for the prior fiscal year was in front of you not all that long ago. And immediately after we were able to get that one through for the prior fiscal year, we put this one forth right after it, but we had to get the first year through before proceeding on to this one. But when we did, we without delay, we put this contract forth. So to answer your question, there is difficulty in getting everything together and having everything proceed through the document flow approval process that brings it to this point today.
All right, thank you. Any other questions, Commissioner Baker McCormick?
And for the Human Relations Department, the person that we hired, do we have, or did she already hire that person? And who would that be?
Varga, do you?
We did not have the information of who will be hired by the department. We're making monies available so they can hire.
So they haven't been hired yet.
Has that person been hired yet, Andy? Or if Victoria Ennis is on the line?
Madam Chair, this is Sue Hamud, Deputy Corporation Counsel.
Yes, Sue, go ahead.
Through the chair. No, a person has not been hired for that position.
Okay, thank you.
So is there, is this job been put out for?
Is it out?
Is it, yeah.
The question is, do we have the posting for this position?
I would have to follow up with Tori if it's been posted. I know that I think step one was securing the funding for it first.
Yes, so we approve the funding so that they can then go post for it. They couldn't post if they didn't know it was gonna have funding, so that was what we did. Well, we'll be doing today if it's approved. Any additional questions? All right, hearing none, roll call vote for the Committee on Ways and Means.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Basham,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Daub,
Yes.
Commissioner Colleen,
Aye.
Commissioner Kinlack,
Yes.
Commissioner Knizik, Commissioner Morecki, Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Baydun,
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomera,
Yes.
Chair Bell,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Next item, please.
We're on Report C from the Committee on Health and Human Services. There are 6 items listed on pages 5 through 8 of the agenda.
Thank you. Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Madam Chair, I'm recommending approval of 6 items today. The first item is one of our care management organizations, Black Family Development. These are the services for juvenile and youth services for Wayne County. And then on the second item, we have Bridgeway Services. Again, this is the care management organization for juvenile services. Our third item is another care management organization, Center for Youth and Families. Again, they provide services for juvenile and youth. And item 4, another care management organization, Growth Works. They provide juvenile services. And number 5 is Insight Youth and Family Connection. This is in my district, Northwest Detroit. They provide youth juvenile services. And then item number 6 is the reappointment of Melita Jordan to the Wayne County Health Choice Board of Trustees.
Thank you so much. Any discussion on these items? Commissioner Kinlock?
Yes, Madam Chair, I would like to be the maker of the motion on item 1 and 3.
Duly noted. Any other discussion? I'll just say that these contract renewals with our CMOs are they do such a wonderful job. And I will tell you that I'm on the State Juvenile Justice Task Force as other counties within the state look to see how they can improve their juvenile justice procedures and processes. And I always brag about how well we've been doing for over 20 years with our juvenile justice, utilizing these fine institutions to assist our young people. So I'm glad that they're here for renewal. And hopefully soon, Madam Chair of the committee, we can get a report from the county. Usually we get an annual report on the recidivism rates, how many youth we're serving, and just the status of each of the CMOs. Thank you. Commissioner Marecki.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I just wanted to note too that these are this is the fourth quarter payment adjustments to these groups because they are looked at and see if they add any kids, if they take away any kids. So this happens quarterly with these. And I just wanted to note that GrowthWorks is having their 50th anniversary this year. So they do a great job for the area I'm in. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, each of these organizations have been doing a wonderful job serving our youth here in Wayne County. And I'm hopeful that the rest of the state may take on our lead on how we conduct our juvenile justice business here. Any further discussion on these items? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Basham,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark.
I'm sorry, did you? Oh, sorry, it was moved by Commissioner Baker McCormick. Is there support?
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Now roll call vote.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Basham,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dobb,
Yes.
Commissioner Killeen,
Aye.
Commissioner Kinlock,
Yes.
Commissioner Knizik, Commissioner Marecki,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott.
Yes, but I did have my hands raised. I wanted to be the maker of the motion for those that were in Highland Park.
Ever noted? Okay, duly noted. Thank you, Commissioner. Sorry about that.
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Baydoun,
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomero.
Yes.
Chair Bell,
Yes.
motion carries. Commissioner
you.
Kinlock is the maker of the motion on items 1 and 3, and Commissioner Scott for the items in Highland Park.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Here, Report D from the Committee on Audit, there are 2 items listed.
Commissioner Basham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I may, with the chair's support, I'd like to have the Auditor General make a couple of comments about this external audit.
Yes.
Through the chair, what you have before you today are 2 items. The first one is a required communication from the county's external auditors, Plant Moran. This is required when they begin the financial statement audit. The second item you have before you is the 2021 OAG Annual Report. This is a summary of the accomplishments of the OAG during the calendar year 2021. Some of the highlights are that we completed 18 audit review reports that had 72 new recommendations with the financial impact of $1.4 million. We also followed up on 18 prior recommendations from old reports Of them 18 recommendations, there was 100% of the recommendations were either implemented or in process. I think this is an indication of management's commitment in the county to manage risk. And if you'd like to see a full copy of the report, it's on the county's website, or will be posted on the county's website.
Thank you, Matt. Good. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd move to receive and file item number 1.
Would you like to do 1 and 2 together?
Okay, I can do 1 and 2 together, but I was going to do it a little different. But I'd like to also report and thank that the Auditor General and her staff, usually I'm always pushing, I'm used to being a skunk to picnic for 100% compliance. Last year, we had 100% compliance from our Auditor General and her staff, and I would like to publicly support them for that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Congratulations. Thank you so much, Marcy and the Audit Committee. That's awesome. And I want to also say that, you know, we're down auditors. We've been losing auditors. It's hard to find auditors. So even in light of that, your office is still providing the necessary oversight throughout the county, providing recommendations and having those departments adhere to your recommendations. So thank you for what you're doing and to be doing it with the staff level that you have. We appreciate your work so much. Thank you.
Madam Chair, also with the Audit Committee, the members of the committee, the commissioners that support make this all work. Also, I'd like to thank my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Dopp?
Thank you, Madam Chair. My comments are echo much of what Commissioner Basham said, but I just really want to point out how important this committee is and the work of the Auditor General and her team. Auditing and accounting are not glamorous or sexy, but it's very important work, especially with the federal grants that we receive and all of the COVID money that we have been receiving recently. We really have to, use that money correctly according to their guidelines, and the auditors, they make sure that we're doing that. So I just, want to point that out. So if you haven't taken the time to read through this, please do, because, they put a lot of work into it and it is very important. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Absolutely. Great work by our auditing team. And if anyone should know an auditor who is looking for a great position and a great body to work with, please let us know so that we can add to our team. Commissioner Anderson.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to ask a quick question since the auditor is here. I appreciate her hard work and with the limited staff that she has. And I just wanted to see if there's a possibility of getting an update on where we stand with the audit that was underway regarding the ERP program.
We have started the engagement. We've been working with Huey Newsom, the Chief Financial Officer, receiving all the additional contracts, supplemental information, and we're working on now, and hopefully we'll have some more progress that I can report back within a month.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? Commissioner Basham?
Madam Chair, I'd like to move items 1 and 2 at this time to receive and file. Support.
Anderson.
Moved and supported for receive and file the audit report. Any further discussion? Because they're both receive and file items, I'll entertain a voice vote for this. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Anyone wish to abstain?
Motion carries.
So much. Next item, please.
Here on Report E from the Committee on Public Safety, Judiciary, and Homeland Security, there are 5 items listed on pages 9 and 10 of the agenda.
Hey, Commissioner Clark Holman.
Madam Chair, I am going to be moving items 1 through 5, but just a recap of them. Item number 1, $87,500 for rehab treatments for adult offenders who might be homeless or have been diagnosed with problems. Item number 2 is a 1-year, it's a contract with 2 1-year options to renew to provide $650,000 to provide janitorial services at the county jails. Item number 3 is $5,000 with the option to renew vending machines at jail divisions 1 and 3. And item number 4 is a 2-year inmate telephone services contract for $3,490,000, extending the contract by 2 years for telephone services for the inmates at the jails and the road patrol facility. Item number 5 is a $20,000 grant. It's an educational grant for pedestrians and bicycle overtime enforcement grant. This will allow some of the deputies who would like to work overtime to pass out information regarding these bicycles and pedestrians areas.
Right, thank you.
I'd like to move items 1 through 5.
Support.
Moved and supported. Thank you for that overview. Any questions on these items? Commissioner Baker McCormick?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a quick question on number 4. I recall that we discussed a contract with and then I can't remember if it was this company to provide these services for telephone communications. And there was an issue with the amount that we were charging at some time ago. And just wanted to clarify, is this the same company? And was there another contract bid for another company outside of this one? Because this is in California. It seems like it was a local company that we were working with before, and maybe.
Madam Chair, I can't respond to that because I don't necessarily remember.
Okay.
But if Samaya is on the line, maybe Samaya.
And I see Aaron has, Aaron, is that your hand up from previous or is that for now?
Chair Bell, this is, I just raised it, so I
Okay,
can
go
answer
ahead,
the
Aaron,
question.
then Samaya, go ahead.
Yes, so in the inmate phone industry, there really are 2 companies from a national perspective that hold the reins, if you will, for this. One's GDI. Telmate is a subsidiary of that company, and then the other one was Securus. Our previous contract was with Securus. Let's see, what was it in 2018? I think it was, or 2017. 2018. We went out to bid for these services, and on that bid, Telmate was the company that won. So we're just extending our option years on this. We are going back out to bid for the new criminal justice complex for the for the inmate phone and video visitation. We're going to be looking at new technologies with that new facility. So that bid is actually being worked on and completed now. So it should hit the streets in the next week, couple weeks. But at this point, when we went out to bid, there were 3 companies that did respond to the solicitation, but none of them were locally based.
Thank you.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
On your new position, Aaron. Very good. But I'll just take a sidebar here to talk about how important institutional knowledge is, because people like Aaron know those contracts from years ago and the status. So we have to make sure we do what we can do to retain people who have that knowledge. So that's the sidebar. Commissioner Colleen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll just comment on that. You know, the cost of these phone calls is like a poor tax. We need to do better. I don't know exactly what it is. We've discussed it a little bit. I understand that, you know, folks in our jail can't have 24/7 cheap access to phones or anything like that, but it's just the extraordinary cost of these. I think we should do better. My question is on item number 1 here with the team wellness. I definitely support the kind of the aim here. I guess these are folks that are leaving the jail that are homeless. So I have a few questions with regards to this contract. Are all of these individuals going into residential housing? I know how expensive that is, and I look at the amount of the contract and I'm thinking, wow, that's not enough money. How many people are part of this program? How is it decided that you are eligible for this? And then if we are putting people into housing and providing some services upon release from jail, how long is the county commitment to those folks? Do we do that ad infinitum? Do we say we're going to provide help for 90 days? So those are my questions. How is it decided how you get in the program? How many people do we have in it? Are all of them in residential housing? And what is the length of the county commitment to these individuals? I see we're spending money out of residential outplacement in terms of where it is in the budget. So how long are we going to help people defray the cost of the housing? Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And from the administration, who can speak to a thumbnail explanation of those questions?
Through the chair, this is Sumaya Harb, Director of Administration at the Sheriff's Office.
Good
Can
morning.
you hear me? Good morning.
Yes,
How
good
are
morning.
you? Happy
Thank
New Year
you.
to everybody. Thank you. The residential area contracts, we did an RFP back, I'm not sure, 2018, 2019. And this is one of the vendors that we send. We have a director of jails identifies who can go to residential treatments. Sometimes we get a court order to send someone to that residential treatment, depending on what their needs are. Currently, we have 5 contracts with different residential treatment facilities. The cost per day is $48 to send an inmate to get rehabbed or to get needed services to go there, as opposed to us keeping them in the jails and paying over our cost to keep them in the jails over $145 per day per inmate. I have some of the questions that the commissioner asked. I can reply with in a written format. I have to research so I can give him the right information.
So she'll provide a written explanation and answer to your questions. And when you provide that, if you could provide that to all commissioners, please.
Madam Chair.
Absolutely, will do.
Commissioner Kleen?
Yeah, you know, we do that a lot here. Yeah, we'll follow up and send you a report. And quite often they never show up. I'm going to express my frustrations with how we meet here. It's so hard to hear everything. I'm going to have member comment. Did I understand the sheriff's office to say this is just one of the residential providers we contract with?
Yes, sir. Through the chair, yes, sir. When we did an RFP, we have 5 companies that we contract with to provide residential treatment.
Okay, one more time then,
services.
when we get this written report.
Will do. Absolutely. I can give you the names of all of them.
For what I need out of this. One, how is it decided that you're eligible for this program? 2, how many people are involved? And if we have 5 contractors, we can add all of that up. Is everything that we're doing here providing residential? Are there other services? I will wait for the written report on that. And then what is the length of the county? If we say here, you're leaving jail and we're going to provide you residential housing, are we going to do that for 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years, 3 decades? What is the length of the commitment to these individuals for help once they leave our custody? So that's what I'd be looking for in a report. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, and look forward to getting that information, Samaya.
Thank you, will do.
Any further discussion on the public safety report?
I move approval. We already did.
Yes, you moved and Commissioner Scott supported. All right, let's do a roll call vote for this, please.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Basham,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Coleman, Commissioner Daub,
Yes.
Commissioner Khalil,
Aye.
Commissioner Kinlock,
Yes.
Commissioner Kenizik, Commissioner Morecki, Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Varga, Vice Chair Pro Tem Baydun,
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomero,
Abstain on item E1 and yes on the rest of the report.
Chair Bell.
Yes.
Motion carries. Commissioner Palomero is an abstention on item 1.
All right, very good. Next item, please.
Here on Report F from the Committee on Government Operations, there are 11 items listed on pages 10 through 13 of the agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner Dobb.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move items 1 through 4. I'm sorry, 1 through 3 for receive and file, and then 4 through, I think we've got 11 for approval. Item number 1 is a report on the Tech Refresh Initiative, which was mostly laptops that were purchased for employees to work at home during the pandemic. Item number 2, we have a report from the Wayne County Ethics Board. Item 3, a emergency procurement report for a contract with Eagles Security Services to provide an unarmed security guard for the Register of Deeds office. Item number 4 is a recommendation for the Board of Canvassers compensation. Item 5, recommendation of approval for an amendment to a 3-year professional services contract with Pierce Monroe Associates. And item number 5 was a contract with Michigan Association of Counties Services Corporation for procure to pay system. Item 7, we have a contract with Image One Corp., and that is for printers for the county clerk's office. And then items 8, 9, 10, and 11 are all collective bargaining agreements we have Government Administrators Associations, the Professional Nurse Council Units 1 and 2, and Government Bar Association.
Or
Any discussion on the items in the government operations report? Ms. Youngblood? Come to the microphone there. Should be open.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioners. The item number 3 was an unfortunate situation that had happened in my office, something that has never happened in the 22 years of service that I've been leading the office. Fortunately, this body and the CEO's office has an emergency procurement policy which alleviated much of the concern afterwards. What had happened was an individual came into our office and we were at closing time and the individual was not wearing a mask. He was refused entry into the office. And at that time, there was bodily harm threatened to one of my employees who was the receptionist at the time. Fortunately, he also said he was going to come back and do some damage, bodily harm to the individual. With that, my staff, my executive staff and I sat down and worked out a protocol by which if he did return, we would be able to eliminate much of the concern and call the sheriff deputies that are usually in the building. As you know, my office has no security, and the building that we are housed in has security sometimes in some of the entranceways. And again, for 22 years, it's been satisfactory at that time. The individual did come back the following day, and because of the plan that my executive team formulated, there was no harm done, and the individual was apprehended on site. But because of the incident, we realized that we were in jeopardy, and there's nothing more important than those who work for us in Wayne County. So I had the ability to contact your security people, and we immediately housed a security guard through Eagle Security and Angelo Proya, a tremendous team who was able to come in immediately and assist and protect our people, and I applaud his services. At this time, this particular item is for an unarmed guard during a period that has already passed, and we have worked and had other security companies vetted, and you will soon see a contract to continue Mr. Proya's good work in our offices. And I reflect back on what Commissioner Anderson talked about just shortly, and that is, I wonder if this could be applied to a COVID expense, because as I said, this has never been necessary. So I guess that's something that we will discuss for our future expense in this part. But again, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you for having this procurement emergency protocol, and also for the allowing me to hire Mr. Proya and the Eagle Security Services. And I'd be happy to entertain any questions.
I'm so glad that you and your staff are safe and that you put in protocols to continue the safety of your staff and the public who come to you. I'm sorry that that incident had to happen before we got to this point, but I guess going forward, we want to make sure that we're doing what we can to keep everyone safe. Commissioner Marecki?
Thank you, Madam Chair. When did this incident happen?
This happened November 3rd.
So there was no, where I'm going down here, and I'm glad everybody's okay. There's a lot of anger out there, but I'm just curious, we have been told through our attorney here that if we have public come in, we can't make them wear a mask when they come to address us. And if there's no mask mandate through the state, how is the county making people come in and wear masks?
That's not my decision. My understanding is nobody is entering our department without a mask on through the Health Services of Wayne County direction.
Okay, I know they've made the kids in school wear the masks, but I guess I'm going to have to ask around and see how we can keep enforcing that if the state doesn't have a mask mandate. So
perhaps there's somebody in the CEO's office listening who could address that question, Commissioner.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I'll find out.
That's
Thank
fine.
you. And I'm glad you're all right. Thank you.
Thank you. I will say also that at the beginning of the pandemic, our office was deemed to be a one that was necessary to operate. So we immediately went back to the office. I think it was back in May of 2020, and have been operating ever since with some different protocols for the pandemic, limiting the number of people that can come in, limiting the appointments, limiting the number of people that can be on the floor at any one time. And with that also, we were able to arrange to have what's called our indexers, who don't work with the general public, to stay home. So through our DOIT group, we were supplied with the proper equipment and the computers, so they stayed home and are indexing our documents. And I'm pleased to report to you that these individuals have had a higher achievement in their productivity while at home rather than at the office. Interesting outcome.
Yes, very. Thank you. Thank you, Register of Deeds Commissioner Baker McCormick.
I just wanted to clarify, did you ever at any time have a sheriff in your department, or is that only in the treasurer's office?
I can't tell you where they are, but you are correct. We have never had a sheriff deputy assigned to our office.
Thank you.
Commissioner Varga?
Thank you. I remember the time that you had come to us as commissioners and suggested that you had such great personnel that if they could work from home instead of paying the high parking fees, that you would probably have a more productive staff. So it's a shame that it took the virus to make that happen, but I'm very happy that it's working out because I know that's something that you really wanted to do as well.
Thank you for sharing that, Commissioner.
We're before your time, ahead of your time, and that
Yeah.
concept of working at home.
Yep.
Mr. Register of Deeds, yes, absolutely. Any further questions for the Register of Deeds? Commissioner Anderson?
Thank you. It's more of a comment than it is a question, but I just wanted to thank our Register of Deeds Director, our elected official here. I appreciate what he's done. And as you said, Madam Chair, he has been ahead of his time and ahead of the curve on a lot of issues. And I understand there's a lot of concern from some people about wearing a mask, and I've got plexiglass around me here. So when I leave my seat, I'll certainly have it on. But I just have been to that location where the public is able to go in, and it's a very small place really for the number of people that come in on a regular basis. I see the need to protect not only the personnel, but the other people that are there to transact business. So, but I wish you the best with this. And I think as our other commissioner mentioned, it might be something that we should look at about hiring someone or getting someone from the sheriff's department to be there to keep order, to prevent such incidents from happening in the future.
Well, if I can comment on that, Commissioner, and that was a thought that we also had. But as you know, and perhaps you can read in the paper today, they are still have a tremendous shortage for sheriff deputies. And I'm very thankful that Mr. Proya's group was available to come in and give us the security we needed.
I wasn't in any means suggesting we wait until we do that, but it's something that might be reviewed down the road to see if that's possible. And also, there might be some retired deputies that might be willing to come back and do something like that. But anyway, just
thank you.
I support what you're trying to do. Thank you.
Commissioner Kinlock?
Yes, this is my, first, I think my second time actually in person, and my first time seeing you before us. And I wanted to take this time to thank you for your, it's incredible when you have an elected official who, when constituents have called with concerns, you say, give them your cell phone number, you respond to them in the morning, respond to them at night. And so absolutely, I wanted to say I thank you for your service and as well as your openness to responding all times of the hour to residents' concerns directly. Yep.
Thank you, Commissioner. It's my job, my privilege.
Thank you. Vice Chair Pro Tem Baydun?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Youngblood, thank you for being here, and I too express my support for your department. We have to do everything in Wayne County to protect our employees in all the departments, especially in this environment where we have a lack of labor and so many people are quitting. I do support whatever you're trying to do, Mr. Youngblood. I've been to your office numerous times, and I understand your concerns, and you have my full support.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you again, Mr. Youngblood, for coming in here. It's wonderful when we can see our elected officials and you have an item on the agenda, you want to speak to it. Again, I'm hopeful that we will get the security situation worked out and that you won't have any more incidents, more importantly for your staff and for your customers. So thank you for coming and being with us today.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. Additionally, on the item, on the agenda rather for this report is, just want to make sure we make note of this because it's something that we've been talking about for quite a few months, and that's pandemic stipends for employees in some of our unions, where finally this is on our agenda finally for them to get those pandemic stipends. They worked, this is for those people who had to come into work despite the pandemic. They came in, they worked. We thank them for their service. We thank them for coming in. So we're just so happy that we were able to give some of these stipends to these groups that are listed on here today. Commissioner Dobb?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I was wondering if Joe Martinico is on the meeting today, if he has any comments on items 8 through 11 that he would like to share with the commission, and also any updates on the bargaining agreement with the AFSCME employees.
Yes,
I don't
thank you,
know if he's
Commissioner
on.
Dobb. I am present, and good morning, everyone.
Morning.
The county made proposals to all of its unions where there were employees, dedicated employees, who continued to perform their services on site during the first 17 months of the pandemic, the period of time before there was wide availability of vaccines. And we were successful in concluding agreements with the bargaining units whose agreements are before the commission today. Those are the two nurses bargaining units represented by the Government Administrators Association, the Government Administrators Association General Fund Bargaining Unit, and the Government Bar Association. As I mentioned, we have similar proposals that have been made to several of our other bargaining units, and we continue to meet with them to try to conclude agreements with them as well to provide pandemic pay stipends for the services of their employees who were required to work on site during that period. As far as the AFSCME bargaining units are concerned, we have proposals that we've made to AFSCME. We continue to meet with AFSCME. We have meetings scheduled for next week with them. We're hopeful of reaching an agreement with them as well.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that, and we look forward to an agreement coming before us with AFSCME. Any additional questions on this report? We did have a motion and support, Madam Clerk. Okay, very good. Hearing no further discussion, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Basham,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dobb,
Yes.
Commissioner Colleen,
Aye.
Commissioner Kinlack,
Yes.
Commissioner Knezick, Commissioner Morecki,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick, Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Barga,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Baydoun,
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomera,
Staying on item 6 and yes on the balance of the report.
duly noted. Chair Bell,
Yes.
motion carries. Commissioner Palomera is an abstention on item 6.
Thank you so much. Next item, please.
Here on Report G from the Committee on Senior Citizens and Veterans Affairs, there's one item listed.
Commissioner Scott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am recommending approval of a grant agreement between the Charter, County of Wayne, and the Michigan Department of Military and Veterans Affairs. And this is such an important grant that I would like to know if the Director of the Veterans Affairs is on, Mr. Kwesi Betsero. If he is on, I would like for him to explain this, because most of the times it's for one group of veterans or another, but this is for all veterans. So I would like to have him come on and explain this fully.
Mr. Director, are you on? The Director? Or is there someone from the Veterans Affairs Department?
Madam Chair, I see Director Betzerai on. I'm not sure if he's having technical difficulties.
Is someone from his staff who can further expound on this? Grant?
Okay, is Dr. Jordan on?
Okay, well, seeing none, we do, is there someone? Oh.
Okay, all right, thank you for supporting it. What this does, it's for any household essentials, for food, for to pay their bills and stuff, so, and I know that the director was going to send out the information so that we can all have it and put it in our newsletters and websites. But it is just absolutely wonderful. You know,
Absolutely.
when we can have all veterans in his, yeah, whether they were in wartime or as long as they were a veteran. So
Yeah, this is absolutely great news to have this money for all of our veterans. As you stated, Commissioner Scott, this is going to help so many, especially nowadays with the pandemic and everything going on. So we are willing and able and grateful to accept this grant today. So we'll certainly vote on it. But I want to thank the administration for doing what they had to do to get this before us to help so many of our veterans.
Excuse me, Chair Bell. This is Director Betzroy.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
I was briefing one of my teammates, and I was like, "Oh, okay, my bad." So yes, this is a great opportunity to help our peacetime veterans in Wayne County, along with our wartime veterans. And we've received this grant in different amounts for the last 3 years, and it just facilitates us reaching out to the out county areas. It provides monies for food vouchers, food gift cards. It allows us to help those peacetime veterans and wartime veterans pay their property taxes, their rent, their mortgage. So this just adds an awful lot of value to our efforts to reach the 84,550 veterans that reside in Wayne County's 43 communities.
Thank you so much, and we look forward to your efforts to apply for and receive additional grant dollars going forward as well. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Commissioner Dobb?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And my question is for Mr. Betzroy. I'm sure you'll be sending out more information about this program to us, but I just wanted to know who, what you said, peacetime and wartime veterans, but is there an income qualification or any other sort of qualifications for them to receive these vouchers? And also, how are we going to distribute them? Do they have to apply to us, or are you contacting every veteran in the county and sending them out, or how is it gonna work?
So there's a couple of things. So when we get the funds, say for example, the vouchers, we will advertise it on our webpage. We can push it out to the county commission as we've done in the past, and then they can help disseminate that information out to the community. It's kind of hard to email or to send a letter to 84,000 plus veterans, but we'll push it out. We'll publish it in as many ways as possible. And I think that was the question I heard the first. And what was the other part?
Is there an income level that you need to meet or to get this voucher?
No, ma'am, not exactly for the voucher, or the only one may be our burial policy, maybe a $40,000 limit on that, but we always explain that to the veterans what we're looking for. So for anybody who comes to apply for any benefits, we give them a checklist and we look at their bank statements so that they can demonstrate a financial hardship, that they have a financial need, because we have to be good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars. So once we've done that due diligence, then we go ahead and try to execute getting those funds pushed out to those veterans and their families.
Okay, great. Looking forward to receiving the information on the program and helping you get the word out to everyone.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any additional discussion on the Senior Citizens and Veterans Affairs Report? Commissioner Basham.
Yes, as a commissioner that used to be in the Air Force, and as Commissioner Kinesic, who used to be in the Marines, are on this commission, will certainly support this. Thank you.
Then Commissioner Baker McCormick, who was in the Army. So we have 3 veterans on the commission. So thank you so much. All right, it's been moved and supported. Correct, Madam Clerk? Okay, let's approve of a grant. So we're going to do a roll call vote. Please.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Basham,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dobb,
Yes.
Commissioner Killeen,
Aye.
Commissioner Kinlack,
Yes.
Commissioner Kenizik, Commissioner Morecki,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick, Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Badun,
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomero,
Yes.
Chair Bell,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And please, Director, send that information to all of us so we can share with our constituents. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next item, please.
Upcoming committee meetings.
Okay, please note the committee meetings. If there are any changes, please let the clerk know. Next item.
Here on new business, there is one item listed requesting commission approval of modification number 2 to a collective bargaining agreement between the Charter County of Wayne and the Government Bar Association.
Okay, I think, Joe, do you have this one?
Yes, Madam Chair. This agreement provides for an extension of the current collective bargaining agreement with the Government Bar Association. The current agreement was scheduled to expire in September of 2023. This extends it out 2 additional years through September of 2025. And in addition, contains substantial increases to the wages of attorneys in the prosecutor's office and in corporation counsel. We were approached by Prosecutor Worthy and the union about the critical situation involving the loss of staff and the inability to recruit staff in the prosecutor's office. And we surveyed the salaries that were provided to attorneys in the prosecutor's office and corp counsel's offices in surrounding counties. And we found that we were significantly behind the market as far as what pay and for experienced attorneys and new hire attorneys. So we entered into negotiations with the Government Bar Association seeking to provide increases, and the agreement before you today is one which does provide increases to all levels of staff within the prosecutor's office and corp counsel's office.
Thank you so much for that. There's no secret that many of our great dedicated lawyers get great experience here in Wayne County. And unfortunately, due to the pay, they move on to other opportunities. So I'm glad that this is before us today so that we can continue to retain the lawyers that we have both in corp counsel and the prosecutor's office. Is there a motion for this item?
I'm sorry, Commissioner, I just wanted to point out that there is a representative from the Government Bar Association on the call this morning, if anyone wanted to hear from them.
If you are there from the Government Bar Association, if you could please give us some words on how you feel about this collective bargaining agreement.
Yes, good afternoon. This is Amanda Morris-Smith, Government Bar Association President. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to address you all today. I echo the words of Mr. Martinico from Labor Relations. The Government Bar Association is very pleased to have this item on the agenda before you this afternoon. We are very appreciative to the work Kim Worthy or the support Kim Worthy gave to our association, and also the support from Warren Evans and recognizing that our membership does critical work for the citizens of Wayne County, and that work deserves at least parity with the pay that's received by other likewise situated employees throughout the state of Michigan. And we very much hope that you approve this item on the agenda today.
Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for your comments. Again, we think that it's well-deserved, and we're glad that it's before us today. Any discussion?
Support.
Was it moved? I'm sorry, who moved it?
I moved in. I'm sorry, Madam Chair. I moved to approve it.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Any discussion on this collective bargaining agreement? Okay, hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Basham,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dobb,
Yes.
Commissioner Killeen,
Aye.
Commissioner Kinlack,
Yes.
Commissioner Kenizik, Commissioner Morecki,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Varga, Yes. Vice Chair Pro Tem Baydun.
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomero.
Yes.
Chair Bell.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. Okay, next item, please.
On testimonial resolutions and certificates of appreciation, there is one item listed.
Okay, so today we have with us a resolution signed by all commissioners honoring Ron Akadniski for 41 years of service to Wayne County. He, I spoke earlier about the institutional knowledge. He knows everything after 41 years of what bridge, what road, what everything, what infrastructure project has happened here in Wayne County. He will sorely be missed and leave a void in our DPS department, but after 41 years, he absolutely deserves to go and retire and enjoy himself. So Ron has already left the county, but this is a copy of the resolution that we have, and this is the hard copy that will be delivered to his home. Commissioner Barecki, you served as COPS chair, and Ron, of course, was at all of your meetings. I'll turn it over to you for a few words.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And yeah, unfortunately, we didn't realize Ron left. We were hoping, he's on every Zoom meeting. So we were hoping to give it to him today, but it will be delivered. And I know everybody here has worked with Ron in one capacity or another because roads, it's a huge thing for every commissioner. But yeah, he will be missed and his institutional knowledge will be really missed as well. And we wish him the best. I mean, yeah, after, like you said, after 41 years, it's a well-deserved retirement and I hope he can enjoy it. And maybe some of us can just like call him on the side once in a while for advice. Probably shouldn't say that in front of the administration.
Hopefully he'll keep his cell phone open for us.
Yeah, but thank you.
And
thanks everyone for the people who put the work into the resolution as well. Thank you. And thank you for everyone signing it.
Thank you. And Ron isn't, let me just make sure you aren't on Zoom, are you, Ron? He's like, I'm out of here. No, he's not. Okay, very good. Well, again, we wanted to thank him for his dedication, his service. And I don't know if Director Watts is on still, if she wants to say a word. Again, he's been such a dedicated, important person for Wayne County for so many years. Director Watts, if you're on.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, we had a wonderful celebration for Ron on Tuesday when we returned. So lots of food, a small one, of course, because we were trying to keep socially distanced. But you're right. Even ever since I've been here, Ron has really, regardless of who headed up DPS, or regardless who was working his division, he was passionate about infrastructure in Wayne County. You can always call him. He was like a walking encyclopedia when it comes to our roads and bridges. So Ron is going to be missed. He's not going to go far. He told me I could call him anytime. But actually, Ron was thinking about retiring 2 or 3 years ago. So we begged him. So we were on 3 years borrowed time. So you're right. It's time for him to go and enjoy his family and travel like he wants to do, but he will be missed. And we thank him for all the service he gave, but he won't go far. He told me I'm just a phone call away.
Very good. Thank you, Director Watts. I appreciate it.
Can I add some notes here regarding Ron?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. If Ron retired last Tuesday, yesterday, today, he's on his email sending messages and work, and this Friday, he's going to be here too. So he's so dedicated to Wayne County, although he's already retired, but he still keep working. So.
Thank you for sharing that. He is a very dedicated employee and now dedicated retiree. So thank you for that. At this time, Commissioner Marecki, you'd like to make the motion?
Yes, I'd move to approve this resolution for Ron.
Support.
Been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone wish to abstain?
Carries.
All right, thank you so much. Let us now go back to item number 5 in the COPS report. There was a question about the funding for that item, if it was coming out of FEMA, or not FEMA, but it's the COVID dollars. Council, if you could read what you have from Daryl, the buildings director.
Yes, so Director Jones has confirmed that the account number is correct.
It actually was paid from the capital funds account. It appears that the written description is not accurate, but the account number is. No further action is required of this body. And again, it was paid from the capital funds account. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's clarity on that. And again, that was a receive and file item. Okay, next item, Madam Clerk.
Memoriams, there are 7 names listed.
Okay, there are names listed here for memoriam. Would anyone like to speak on the names that we have here? Let me go first and just give our deepest sympathy to Corporal Ernest Robinson from the Sheriff's Department who passed away last week. It's so sad. I think he was only 50. So sad when we lose, anyone, but especially members of our Sheriff Department and especially people so young. So I just want to make sure that we extend our sympathies to his family, to the Sheriff's Department. It's a great loss to not only the Sheriff's Department, but all of Wayne County. So we just want to keep their family in our prayers. Commissioner Kinlock.
Yes, I would like to add the name of my mother's sister, Addie Lee Kuzar, to this list. And also that my thoughts and prayers go out to all the individuals and their families who are listed today.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to add the name of Patricia Harris. Pat, as we all knew her, was a tireless advocate and activist and volunteer for the Michigan Democratic Party. She was an organizer and a precinct delegate, and she recently passed away unexpectedly. She lived in Westland and known her for probably 20 years or more. She actually worked for Governor Granholm at one time and a capacity. So I just wanted to send her prayers. Her brother is with the Michigan Paralyzed Veterans, and I've known him probably even longer than I've known Pat. But Pat was just a tireless worker, and I know the MDP was just very, very upset and very distraught over losing her. But anyway, thank you. If we could include her name, I'd appreciate it.
Well, we will include her name. Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on any names listed or add any names? Commissioner Marecki?
Madam Chair, I just wanted to say that Derek Coley, our equipment director, lost his father yesterday, I believe. So sympathies to him.
Thank you. So sorry for that. We'll extend our sympathies to his family as well. Thank you. No other comments? If we could have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Next item, please.
Public comments.
Okay, is there anyone on the line for public comments? You have 1 minute to provide public comments to the Wayne County Commission, either on Zoom or on the telephone. I see a hand raised with a phone number. You could unmute everyone. Okay. Okay. The one hand that I see, if you can go ahead. Oh, but you're still muted though. Okay, go ahead. I see you're muted now. Go ahead.
Hello. First, I just want to say hello, honorable commissioners. Condolences to the loss in the Sheriff's Department as well, and all others. My prayers to you. I'm just simply here to ask for you all to give the people of Michigan a choice in health needs and remove the current mandate. For instance, my daughter has asthma and takes breathing treatments because she has periodic asthmatic attacks. She struggles to breathe when she has flare-ups. She often comes home complaining about breathing problems due to the mask. She doesn't know when she should remove the mask because the adults are telling her to keep it on, and she's only 5 years old. And so you can see how this can become problematic. I've asked my doctor to provide her a waiver, yet he's told us he basically is confined because he'll be shunned by his hospital system. And so you can see how this is sort of a circular thing that's happening. And I'm simply asking this body, this honorable body, to honor the recent budget bill that was signed into law by Governor Whitmer, which prohibits health departments from broad sweeping mandates. The bill Governor Whitmer signed gives the discretion to the schools and the city. Please honor, support the law, and sponsor a resolution.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for your comment, sir. I don't know how we can mute the noise. Okay. Matthew?
Hello again, Honorable Board. My name is Matthew Reese. I'm a resident of Redford Township, and I wanted to remind again, as the previous gentleman said, the illegal nature of these mask mandates coming from the health department. And that I'm also really concerned about the way that our county is continuing to spend money to fund promotions for vaccines when, again, the option has been available. It's been widely available for many people for a long time. It's very concerning that we feel we need to continue pushing and spending money on advertising campaigns for people who at this point have made up their mind whether they should or should not have this widely available vaccine. Mandates are coercion, it's tyranny, and it's very important that you see that and respect the wishes of your constituents. Stop promoting these jabs, stop promoting the mask mandates, and restricting alternative treatment options. It's very, very important that we start spreading real science and real information to our constituents and not propaganda. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. I don't see any other hands on the screen for public comments. Do you all see any other hands? Dwayne, I don't see Dwayne. Dwayne, still?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, this is Dwayne Sills, Wayne County, Deputy Wayne County Clerk, Chief Financial Advisor. I want to thank you, Madam Chair, and this honorable board for allowing me to speak at this time. On behalf of Clerk Garrett, looking forward to be here this morning, but because of a pressing issue, she could not make it. But she will be getting with you shortly, though. She just asked me or instructed me to actually let this board know that making sure that you're aware of her dire situation as far as her staffing. As you know, that her staff was required to come back to work right at, I think back in late April, early May of beginning of the pandemic. Now she's at a staffing level that's at, she has, I think, approximately 90 employees that's vacant. So she has 90 positions vacant. Staffing is resigning. So the situation is very dire where she's in her office. She's going to make sure that you're aware of this. And as far as courts, she has done everything. She's worked with personnel as far as getting more, trying to get more employees and then in the office to work with her. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, Dwayne, I had a hard time hearing. I don't know about my colleague.
Really?
Did you say there were 90 vacancies?
Yes, exactly. I'm sorry. There's 90 vacancies in her office. So approximately about 32% of her staff is vacant at this point.
Do you know if they're out sick or?
No, it's actually just vacant. We have been trying to, no, these are not positions that are filled. These positions need to be filled. We've been working with personnel as far as trying to recruit. We are constantly, I think in the last year, we've had 18 employees resign because of the workload as far as the pandemic, the situation, just our court staff. I think we've actually increased the pay, but yet we're still having an issue with getting recruiting employees.
Thank you. I'm not going to consider this public comment because you're representing our elected officials. So that's why I had the back and forth dialogue with you. So if you could, hopefully we can refer this matter to Government Operations Commissioner Dobbs Committee to further discuss ways in which we can address the vacancies and workload and the other things with the clerk's office. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I will let Madam Clerk know, and thank you for your time.
Any other people for public comment on the telephone or on Zoom? Hey, Madam Clerk, do we have any emails that have come in? Okay, if you could read those, please.
Leah Riley. Good morning, Commissioners. In light of the CDC's Director Walensky publicly admitting in an interview on CNN that the COVID-19 vaccines are no longer effective at preventing the transmission of the virus, what is this board going to do to correct the months of misinformation they have been funding in our county about stopping the spread by getting the jab? Will this board finally admit that you were wrong and start educating people about alternative and effective treatments to treat COVID infections? Furthermore, with CNN's own medical expert, Dr. Leanna Wynn, admitting that cloth masks are nothing more than air coverings and are useless against the virus because it's airborne, why are children still being subjected to wearing masks in schools? Pushing the shots must stop. Mandating masks must stop immediately. This board has been turning a deaf ear to your constituents for months as we've been educating. That was from Leah Riley. This is from Darcy Reese. Good morning, Commissioners. This morning, I ask again that you do everything in your power to end all mask mandates in our schools. A number of studies have shown that the masks do not prevent the spread of COVID-19, are in fact breeding grounds for other diseases. The masks have the negative emotionally and psychologically impacts on our children in addition to the physical problems. By continuing to enforce the mask mandates, you are tacitly agreeing you are not interested in the safety and health of the children of Wayne County. I urge you to read the studies on this issue and do everything in your power to end these mask mandates and protect our kids. This is from Michelle Reese. Please end the mask mandates on our county school children. The CDC has stated that cloth masks are ineffective to prevent the spread of COVID. Please end the promotion of the ineffective COVID vaccines and offer your constituents other information of other effective treatments. Come November, I'll be voting for a commissioner who is able to hear common sense wisdom and opinions other than his own and responds to email communications from his constituents. This is from Bob Buckula. Hello, I am trying to address the board on an ongoing issue. I am a Wayne County resident and taxpayer on 7 properties here. I am having issues reaching Elmika Steele of the Drain Commission. I have an issue that needs to be resolved. Her office is not returning telephone calls, emails, or certified mail. I have a report that I would like to include, and it will be attached to this email. I will be joining the Zoom meeting. That was the last public comment.
Thank you so much. Next item, please.
Reconsiderations.
Okay, there are none.
Remarks by members.
Okay, oh, lots of hands. Basham, then Marecki, yeah, and then Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to be presenting a resolution to this commission for support of a law that is in place by the state legislature. It has to do with holding your phone while you're driving. It's against the law. There is no enforcement. Basically, I've talked to all sorts of different police departments and I've talked to 18 judges. We need to do with this like we did with the seat belts, the baby seats, the booster seats, the emergency vehicles and construction zone. We need to tell people it's about public safety first, revenue second. I have police officers in my city that write you for impeding traffic. If you ever go by Gardner White's on Telegraph, you'll get a ticket if you're speeding and they'll write it for impeding traffic when in fact you're going faster than traffic. They do that because they get the local revenue. They get to keep the revenue. And this should not be about revenue. This should be about public safety first, revenue second. We are alienated from the state. The state wants the money, so the locals aren't doing enforcement unless they get to keep the money. This is a big issue. It's a public safety issue, and we need to address it as a government body. We need to work with the state legislature in local government and have like teams, like we used to have what they call Drano, where the locals, the county and the state work together to do enforcement. We need to do the same thing with this holding a phone. I ride a motorcycle and I don't even like to ride in town anymore because you'll see people moving over across your lane. They're holding their phone with both hands and you can't drive more than a mile without seeing this. And we need to, as a group, start, and this is not a partisan issue, it's a public safety issue. So I asked my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to work with me and support this resolution and then individually talk to your state reps and your state senators so that we move forward and make Michigan a safer state. Thank you.
Thank you. Look forward to that resolution coming before us. Commissioner Marecki?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have a couple things. First of all, I want to wish my legislative, where is she? Grace. It's Grace's birthday today, so.
Happy birthday, Grace.
Yeah. Second, I just want to give a shout out to Sheriff Ray Washington. He was on WJR this morning, really pushing the fact that we have so many sheriff openings and trying to entice people to come to the county. And lastly, I don't know if everyone's aware that this is the last week, I believe, maybe next week, for Wafa De Niro and Cheryl Jordan. They're both leaving to go to bigger and better things. And I know I'm going to miss them a ton. I've really enjoyed working with them. So good luck to both of them.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, we will miss them. And when they get drawn closer to their final meetings, we'll have something for them. Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've requested our staff person, Mr. Johnson, already for this, but I wanted to mention this because if someone from the administration is following the meeting would provide this to us, I'd appreciate it. I don't know how many commissioners find themselves lacking a list of who directors are and their contact information, but it was just mentioned at this meeting, 3 people that are leaving that we would like to know who their replacements are and have contact information, email as well as a phone number to reach them because I think it helps us do our job better. And I'm just making that request of the administration to provide a complete and updated list of directors and department heads in the Wayne County executives that report to the executive. So we have that information to assist our constituents. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. And I've asked that in prior years. Andy, I hope you're listening. Again, we need a director's list so we can know who's on first and then what their email and phone numbers are. Because it can, especially with so many people coming and going over the last few years, we really need to have that. So, Andrew, if you can hear my voice, if you could please work on getting that to us as soon as possible. Thank you. Hey, Andrew, can you hear my voice? Okay, thank you, sir. All right. Any other remarks by members? Commissioner Vice Chair Pro Tem Baydun?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to make an announcement. Next Monday, the 24th at 6:30 p.m., I will be hosting another COVID-19 update town hall meeting. I will have Melita Jordan on with us from Wayne County and Dr. Muzammal Ahmed from Wayne County, from Beaumont Wayne Hospital. He's a physician. We will be talking about the spike in COVID cases and other things that are going on as far as COVID.
Thank you, Commissioner, for that. That's going to be great information for our residents. Commissioner Basham?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I know I already spoke, but I post the numbers for out county COVID daily. As I get them, I post them.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the highest numbers were in Dearborn.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Commissioner Baydun has taken a lead in trying to deal with that issue.
Yes.
In a phenomenal way. And I think he needs to be publicly recognized for actually doing that. Because anytime you do something that is right, you're always going to have pushback from the other side. And so, but anyway, he's taking a lead on that. He's doing a great job. And I just want to publicly thank him.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Yes, you are absolutely right. And we have to just keep working to get those numbers down. So thank you, Commissioner. Doing for your continued efforts in that. The work is not over for any of us, actually, because they're spiking, continue to spike. Commissioner Basham?
Yeah, but also relative to those numbers, my colleagues in Detroit, the numbers are very high there also, so they need to do what they need to do. I'll leave it at that.
Absolutely. Numbers are high in Detroit and vaccination is low in Detroit.
Yes.
So that is a twofold effort that we're trying to address. Vice Chair Palomero.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also would like to wish a few happy birthdays. One from this past Monday. This man shares a birthday with a good friend of his, Muhammad Ali, also was born on January 17th. But so was the icon that many of us know, Gregory Eaton, turned 82 this past Monday, and Gregory's health is fine and he is doing great. And then next Friday, January 28th, someone who we work with and know will be celebrating a milestone birthday, and that would be Alan C. Helmkamp next Friday, January 28th. And I think he might have had a hint that I may be mentioning this, and I noticed he ducked out of here about 5 minutes ago. So it's not a birthday he's looking forward to, but one that I am.
And that milestone birthday will be 25, right?
Exactly.
Okay, very good. Very good. Happy birthday, Alan, and everyone else. Thank you. And Eaton he's doing a wonderful, he's so healthy and vibrant at 82. So we're happy that he's healthy and we wish him a happy birthday as well. Any additional comments, remarks by members? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Move, support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Great meeting.